what did you guys come here for today?
The ROI workshop.
How was that?
Amazing.
Yeah, very informative.
I saw you guys ended up signing up. What led up to that decision?
This guy's full of knowledge. He's full of knowledge, and it is on the tip of his tongue, at the top of his head. He spits it out like he dreams about it every night. So he's got years of experience. He's a plethora of information and wisdom, and so I want to pick every part of his brain.
Same thing. I feel like there's so much that we can learn from him.
Yeah.
I look for people like him to be, surround myself with.
And you ended up sending your daughter to the academy?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
She got to learn from the best.
Yeah,
Right.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad to say you guys are part of the Red Hoodie crew. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys have a good night.
Your pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for joining us, and on time too. Like, I am very impressed. I'm gonna apologize. I left my bag with my mics and everything home, and so I'm gonna talk really loud so you guys at home can get the best experience possible. So again, I apologize, but we're gonna jump right in it because it's 10 minutes in and I don't wanna waste any more time. So today we're gonna talk about return on investment, ROI, the most important thing that an investor needs, no matter what you're investing in, okay? So, the very watered down, simple version of what ROI means and stands for is this. How much money am I getting back? And how fast am I gonna get my money back? I told I was gonna call it like this. Okay? So, yes sir.
Can I find this on YouTube?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
I'll share it out, my man. You won't let me forget to promote, right? Look, already starting. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you for tuning in. All right, appreciate you. You gotta love the teens in the room. Okay, so that being said, just very simply, if you put money in, how fast are you gonna get your money back? That's what your concern is, okay? Now, what's a realistic amount of time that you might want your money back? If I said you were putting in, I don't know, $1,000, how long would you want to invest $1,000 for you to get that $1,000 back plus make profit? A year, time frame, months? How long is a reasonable time for you? A month or two. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that percentage looks like, okay? Anybody else? Yeah.
3 months.
3 months? Okay. We got the teens. We're gonna work it out. Anybody else? A realistic time frame.
That's not realistic.
A year. How many years? A year? Okay. So I'll explain it. And we're gonna use some very simple numbers, okay? Let's say you put in $1,000 in an investment. For you to get that $1,000 back in 1 year, that would be 100% profit. So far, so good. Now, if you say you want that in 2 months, we have to multiply that by 6. So you're talking about 600% profit. Okay? If you say 3 or 4 months, let's call it 4 months, then we multiply that by 3, that's 300% profit. This is 4 months, this is 2 months. 1 year, again, is 100% profit. Now, there are not very many investments that you're gonna put your money in that are gonna get you 600% return. There are not very many investments that you're gonna put your money in that you're gonna get 300% return. Is it impossible? No. Is it likely? Very unlikely. And the risk would be extremely high. So, you can put some money in a high-risk investment, you can put some in a moderate and a low. Typically, a realistic investment takes 10 years with just 10%. But your money is working for you. That seems really slow, right? The only time you're gonna get a 300% return or a 600% return is usually if you're investing some sort of time and energy. So like a sandwich shop, for example. They sell a sandwich for $6, let's just say. It's a small sandwich, I know about inflation. It's a small sandwich. The business owner, ingredients-wise, should not spend more than $2 because they want to make 300% on everything they sell. I'll explain. What's your favorite restaurant?
I don't know about Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. How much does it cost you to eat a Jack in the Box?
Like $8.50.
Like $8.50. Can I say like $9? Okay. So your $9 meal, what do you get for Jack in the Box for $9?
But I usually get some bacon with fries. What are bacon fries?
All right, you get fries. Okay, let's break down fries. You have the ingredients, right? What else comes with the tray? Do they give it to you in your hand?
The offer, the stuff that I cook it and then the maintenance.
Okay, and then who makes it?
The employee.
Okay, and then where do they work?
At the restaurant.
All right, and how did you know that the restaurant existed? What did they have to do? Advertisement. So your $9 fries doesn't all go to ingredients, right? So the rule is that they want to make 300% on the food costs because a third of their money goes to labor, a third of their money goes to ads and overhead. Overhead, again, is like this building we're in, right? I'm paying for lights, I pay for food, I pay for furniture, I got the property tax, right? Maintenance on the building. And then you have your third here. So they don't really make that much money, believe it or not, off that $9. At best, they might make 10%. So they might make $1 off of each one of these, right? But they lay out the money here, and then when your $9 comes back in, that's how they pay for all these things, okay? So yeah, they might make 300%, but it's still a risky business. What if you don't go there? What if you go to Cane's? What if you go to Chick-fil-A? McDonald's is trying to compete in what they call now the chicken wars. You can get a chicken sandwich, you can go to Popeyes, right? So it's no guarantee, so that's a lot of risk, right? So that's where you get these big type of returns. If you flip houses, you could make 200 or 300% return on investment. And we'll get into real estate specifically, but I just want to kind of set a barometer. Who here is under 20? Are you already? That's fine. Who here is under 20? Raise your hand. Okay, so almost half the room. So I'm gonna take it a little slow, and it might benefit everybody either way. But you got the Teen Academy here, graduate, 2 members, and we'll see who else wants to join. So we understand this, right? So it's very high risk to make 100, 200, 300%. 10% is like investing in the stock market. You go back 100 years, whether it's up or down, or a good year or a bad year, the stock market performs on average between 8 and 12%. So we just call it 10% to make it simple. That make sense? Okay. That's a moderate risk investment. And a safe investment is gonna get you anywhere from 2 to 5%. So this is gonna take you anywhere from 50 years. Nobody wants to wait 50 years to get $1,000 back, right? Up to 20 years, because 20 times 5 is 100. Okay? So when you put your money in a high yield savings account, if you put it in bonds, you invest in the government, very safe things, they give you very low return. Let's ask some more questions and then we'll jump right into a couple of deals. Jacob, local realtor, just texted me. I told you guys this when you came in earlier. We have, we have 8 doors. I'll say it like that. Is that better? We have 8 doors that just crossed our desk an hour ago. I'm gonna go over the numbers with you live. We're gonna break down the numbers live. You're gonna see what I do every time I look at a deal in real time. And then I have 3 more. We'll get through that. We'll do Q&A, you eat pizza, you go. You wanna stay, you wanna talk, you stay, you talk. I'm happy to have everybody here. Good enough? All right, cool. We understand this, right? High risk, high return, low risk, low return, right? People who have their money in bank accounts. You have a bank account? How much money does the bank pay you every month for your money being in there? That much, right? Exactly. Like nothing. Nothing, right?
Not much.
Okay. Have you ever heard of inflation? Okay, what's inflation?
When prices go up.
Right, when prices go up. So when prices go up, that's like a byproduct of inflation. Inflation is when the value of the dollar or the currency goes down, loses value. So like that cup, that beverage, 3 years ago cost less, 10 years ago cost less, in 3 years it's certainly going to cost more, right? So let's say you have that same $1,000 in the bank and you're not making any interest. Will that $1,000 in 3 years be able to buy you as much as it is today? No, the dollar is losing value. That's what inflation really means, okay? So when you hear about it, that's what I want you to think about. So this is what I want you to think, and especially for the young folks. Why are you okay with putting your money in Chase Manhattan, Navy Fed, Capital One, and letting them pay you no interest on your money? Every day that your money is in that bank account, you are literally losing money. Okay? To the tune of about 3%. So, last time. I might borrow these. Is it my money? No, right? Okay. You have $1,000 in the bank today, you lose 3%, you just lost $30. So now, starting next year, you have $970 of buying power. So on and so forth, right? So, why do you leave your money in the bank? I don't. And if it is in an interest-bearing account, and it's making me some money. Again, when I had the 2 to 5% up here, that interest rate is just enough to hedge inflation. So if inflation is 3% a year, and my account's giving me 3% a year, am I losing any money? No. Am I making any money? No. But at least I'm not falling behind, right? So, we're going to talk real estate and why I invest in real estate and why most of us here invest in real estate. Jacob, you're on, baby. 8 doors. Khalid?
Yep.
Okay. We're not saying addresses yet because this deal just came into our hands. We don't know if we're going to work as wholesalers, which means, and I don't know the numbers just yet, that let's say Laura has a property and for whatever reason, she can't afford to sell it because let's say the foundation's messed up, the roof is old, but she lived there 20 years. So she paid off her mortgage, but she doesn't have $30,000 disposable to fix those things so that she could sell it on the market today. She's stuck. So maybe we come and we say, well, your house is worth, let's say $100,000. We can give you $50,000 because it's going to cost us $30,000 to repair it, and we need to be able to make some money because that's why we put in our investment. Would you be willing to take $50,000? And you might say, sure. I might say, Gail. Gail's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Killeen. Gail's willing to pay me $55,000. I don't want to take the risk. I don't want to flip it. I don't want to invest. So I'm going to allow Gail the opportunity to buy the house for $55,000. That $5,000 fee I made is called a wholesale fee. Okay? But no. I don't want to make 5. I want to make 20. I'm going to keep the house. I'm going to put in the investment and then I'm going to sell it later. That's flipping. Does that make sense? Everybody tracking so far? Okay, good. So Jacob and I are going to see, 1, whether it's a deal that I even want to look at. 2, if I want to share it with my clients. Or 3, if it's worth just putting on the market and wholesaling. And the 4th option is, because Jacob is a licensed realtor, to say, well, it's not a deal for us as investors. Maybe he could just help the client sell it on the MLS and try to get top dollar. Okay? So those are our 4 options. Okay? Let's go, baby. Tell me what you got.
4 duplexes, so 8 doors, all on the same lot. It's here in downtown. Well, not downtown, but off Tremere.
Okay.
by the Walmart off of Lowe's.
Okay.
Boulevard. He's asking $375K for it. Monthly is bringing in monthly gross rent around $5,600. Plus, since he's managing the property, he charges management fees on top of that, so he makes extra income with that. Water, light, he's paying for it. So he's netting roughly about $4,000 to $4,200 a month.
Okay, I got a couple questions. I know we got some seasoned investors here. Something about these numbers strike me as very interesting before we start. So rent is $5,600 total. So 56 divided by 8, that means he's getting $700 a unit.
Yeah.
Okay? $700 a unit. My guess, if water and electric's included, they're all one bedrooms.
It looks that way.
Okay, and so a one bedroom in Killeen, that area is going to get you between probably $450, $500 a month. Now, let's make sure I have this so we have notes for everybody at home. You go back, you break this down. He's only getting $700 because utilities are included. How much is a water bill a month? Anybody can call out, give or take. 75, and that's for like your home, right? Which is probably way bigger than a one bedroom, right? So then,
My one bedroom, 33.
33, yeah, about $30, 35, we call it just to make a round number. So let's just try to figure this out. Because this gross number is, when I first started in real estate, I was excited about the gross number. Before, Jaden, when we was talking, and I said that the mobile home park that we were looking at buying made $6,000 a month. You made a face. It's like it's a lot of money, right? Jaden 17, right? 6,000. But there's 100 units on the lot. That's not a lot of money for 100 units. I'd be losing money. My water bill would be more than $6,000 a month, and that's why you passed in that park. Yeah.
But you always a real estate investor, because you go into it after being in the real estate game.
Like, all right, so what happened was, when I was 21, somebody gave me a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then they were like, would you read it? And I read it, and then I took some of the strategies out of there, and I ended up buying my first property when I was 22 with credit cards. And I haven't stopped since.
I was an investor or a realtor.
Well, I remember, am I a realtor? Not a realtor at all. So, but I work with realtors. Some of my best friends are realtors. If you're a realtor, raise your hand. Right? 1, 2, 3, right? So I love the realtor. Nothing bad about the realtor, okay? I'm just not a realtor. All right? So, water, we'll say $35. Electric is included too. How much is your electric bill? $250?
450.
450, right? It's a great bigger house though, but these are one bedroom, so we'll go with 250. So 250 for electric.
For one bedroom?
Well, yeah, you still got the HVAC, you still got your Wi-Fi, and you still got the minimum fees. When we have homes that we flip, and it's been vacant and it's showing and nobody's going in there, those bills are still like $65. Just in the taxes and the fees, they're like sometimes at $30. But yeah, just the AC going, just so that things don't get too hot, and you set it to like 80, just that little bit of AC. Yeah, sometimes even those are still like $60. Okay, I mean for my house, my bill's $200. I have a really good plan, by the way. I'll tell y'all. You get everything from, it's like remember how remember how cell phones used to be? You had nights and weekends. So I got nights and weekends free. But anything I use during the day is double the price. But we sleep all day and I'm never home, so it's like, we kill it. So my bill's always about $200. So it might be something, I'll give you a number, whatever. I don't make nothing from it, but if it can save you some money, it saves you some money. Okay, we got water, we got electric. What do we have to pay no matter what if we own a home or we're landlords? We have to pay no matter what. Taxes and insurance known as escrows. Let's be fair. Let's say he pays, I don't know, per duplex, $150 a month, just to be fair. Okay? So quote $75 a unit for insurance. If he's saying that the purchase price is $375, let's even say he said $400. That would mean each duplex was worth $100. Each unit is worth $50,000, which he's not getting that much. He's already way over. I'm already saying no to this deal, by the way. A 1-bedroom unit is not worth over there. Is not worth $50,000. You can get 2-bedroom. I think you can tell me about the duplex, the quadplex the other day, and I told you how much did I say a 2-bedroom rental in Killeen is worth per unit. You remember the number? 60, 70. And if it has washer and dryer and it's bigger, 950 square feet in a nicer part of town, or like in the 43s, those are worth 60, 70. I wouldn't buy this for more than $35 a unit. But let's just be fair. Let's keep going with his numbers, okay? So let's say 360 is 90 divided by 4, 45. We'll add another dollar to it. So he wants like $47K per unit. Let's see. I got some young folks over here. What's the 1% rule of real estate? If I'm buying a property for 47, come on, yeah, go ahead, Randy.
So what's the rule?
If I'm buying a property for $47,000, how much is the minimum my rent has to be for me to make 10% net on a 6% interest rate?
At least 1%, which is
What's 1% of 47,000? Just drop off 2 zeros.
4.7.
I have to be making 470. Now what he's doing is he's being a little slippery. He's being a little slippery because he's saying he's making 700. But is he making 700? Absolutely not, because he has to pay these things to justify that rent. Now, insurance and tax is there no matter what. You have any idea how big the lot is? Okay, so we'll go with this number. Let's just say his tax appraisal is 80 grand a unit, 8 times 4, 32. Killeen taxes are 2.45, like 2.5, give or take.
Yeah.
So what that means is if his property is worth, let's say $300,000, and his property tax is going to be 2.5 times that. So it's going to be about $7,500 for the whole thing. So let's just make it simple. Let's say he's paying $8,000 a year. Then you got to divide that into 8, which is $1,000, and you got to divide that by 12 for the monthly. So he's paying about $80 a month for insurance. So now let's see how much money this person's making, because he's saying he's netting. He's saying after all his bills, he's walking away with $4,200.
Before 4,200, 47.
Let's see. Isn't this entertaining? This is why y'all tune in. All right. So we got 155, 160, 190, 390, 440. So out of $700, $440 comes out. That's these numbers here. So he's making $260 per unit. 250 times 8 is 2,000. So he makes $2,080 a month. So he is FOS. It is literally impossible. Let me be fair. When you own a property, you don't have to have insurance. Let's say I took out insurance. And let's say he was a soldier and he lived there. And by some chance, he was able, because all 4 of them are on one lot, right? So, with the VA home loan benefit, what's the most that you could buy with your VA home loan? Not the price, what's the biggest property you could buy? 4plex. Well, this is 8 on one piece of land. So this wouldn't qualify. But let's say he had a bank that was willing to make it work, then the most he could get, because he's living in one unit, is 1/8 off, because they would give him half of this one. He'd still have property tax. Like, this is an impossible number. But let's just say maybe. The only way he's making $4,200 or $4,000 or $3,500, anything like that, is if we take the insurance back, because let's say he owns it and he's like, insurance is a scam and he doesn't believe in it. We do 75 times 150 times 4, which is 600. So we can add back 75 to this number, which is 5, 3. He's still making 335. 335 times 8 is 2,400. We got 240, then you got 40, so 8, 6. He's still only making $2,680 if he doesn't pay insurance. Let's say, I think there's kids in the room, so I won't say it. But you know I'm thinking it. I know you're thinking it too. So let's just go crazy. And let's just say he fights his tax appraisal every year. And let's say he fights it down to $100,000. He's still paying $2,450. I had it at $7,500, so I'll cut it down a third. And I'll say he's making $25. I'm going crazy right now. I can add another 55 to this number, and that is $390. 400 times 8 is 3,200. Minus 80. The best he could be making is 3,120. Or, let's say the electric isn't $250 a month. Let's say, yeah, that's weekends. They siphon whatever. I don't know. Let's say it's 200. Okay, now we add another 50 back. That's another 400. Because 50 times 8. He's still at 3,520. It is impossible for him to make $4,000 with a $5,600 rent roll. So do I buy it or do I pass on it? It's not even a question. Yes, sir.
So on that many properties, would there be any like discounts on utilities? Is there
No. That's not even a question, though. Yeah, your utility company knows you need it. They don't give you no love. I have so many of them in the name, and like every time there's a vacancy or whatever, we have an escrow account, and we just add lines to it. I'll show you no love, bro. Let me show you. But, so now, take a picture. Because I'm going to have to do some erasing. We're going to reverse engineer this thing. We're going to see where we have to be, because we never say no. This is an opportunity. Older gentleman?
Yeah.
Has to be selling this for this price. Has to be. He had to have it for 20, 30 years. Probably doesn't have a mortgage. I'm agreeing that I don't think he has a mortgage. I just think he's way off. Okay? You good? Okay. So I'm going to do some erasing. Don't let me forget, please. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's okay. I'm gonna do a realistic rent. You have pictures yet?
No.
But the assumption is that if he had it for 20 years, it's okay, it's alright. That if he had it for 20 years, do you think that it's the most modern? Do you think it has new floors? Do you think it has new cabinets? Do you think everything's probably antiquated, right? Think of antique. So I'm gonna put it's fine. You got a regular recording? We'll make it work. We got the other camera. It's fine. I'm gonna go with a $350 rent. Because a nice place over there is only gonna get you $550. And we know it can't be nice. It just can't be. Because if it was nice, he'd be getting way more rent. So we're gonna say his rent is $350 per unit times 8, which we know is 7, like 7 times 4. You see what I'm doing when I'm saying 7 times 4? Okay, I'll slow down, sorry. 350 times 2 is how much? Or 35 times 2 is how much? 7. So if I double this number, I can divide that number. Does that make sense? So now I'm working with 700 times 4. And 7 times 4 is 28. So my rent roll is 2,800 on the best day. Okay? That's my 1% rule, baby boy. If my rent is 2,800, now we're multiplying by 100. So now we're just adding 2 zeros. So what's the best purchase price I can give him if I like him that much? 280 is the best I can give him. Who wants to help me with a calculator? Got it? Mortgage calculator? The first one that comes up, mortgagecalculator.org. We're gonna run some real numbers. Can I get one other person? You want to redeem? Nah, I know. So what happened is y'all use the app and it gives you too much information and not enough freedom, and that's where it locked you up.
Well, I got Safari, so I don't think the mortgage calculator is.
Yeah, mortgagecalculator.org. It's the first one that comes up. It's like
Okay,
All
all
right.
right. Google last one.
No, yeah, used to. Google shut us down. We were using it too much for free. All right. If you're buying an investment property, what's the minimum that you have to put down on investment property? 20%. What's 20% of 280? What times 5? Well, you can put it calculated like 56. Yeah. Yeah. It's my guy. Graduated my because he was a genius before he started with us. He's still a genius. So, purchase price is 280. Your deposit has to be $56,000. Okay. That's your question. Okay. If I put in $56,000, how much do I want to get back at least? If you let me borrow $10, how much do you want back at least? At least $10, right? So if you put in $56,000, how much you want back? At least, right? Right? Because you're not gonna put up $56,000 for no reason, right? So $56,000, but now that's where that ROI thing comes. Because if you make it back in 20 years, or 10 years, or 5 years, or 2 years, that determines if it's a good answer or not. Jimmy, where do you want to be? What number? What percentage you want to be at every year at least?
You get 7%.
My man, 7%. I was hoping you'd say that. 7% is a good investment. What's the stock market? 10%. I like to try to beat the stock market. So these are our two numbers, okay? You ready with the mortgage calculator? Mm-hmm. So your purchase price is $280,000. Your deposit is $56,000. Gail, refi DSCR, we're at about 8%, right? It's a fair rate.
For the interest rate?
Yes, your interest rate on a fixed 30-year loan is 8%. Zero out everything else. PMI, taxes, insurance. Zero everything out and then press calculate. And I want you to tell me what that number is.
What about the loan amount? 0 2?
Loan amount it should be the difference. It should be 280 and then you're gonna put in 56 and then that number should be left over. It should put it in there for you. What about it? Appreciate you. Okay. Man, scroll a little, it's gonna be about $2,000.
Yeah, 1.7. 1,768.63.
1,768, right? We're in real estate, we don't count pennies. So it's gonna cost me $1,768 just for principal and interest. Then we got property tax and insurance. Insurance might be $500 a month. Property taxes, even on $100,000, is $250 a month. So we gotta add these up. So, and I'm being really nice on this for insurance and this for tax. It is not that low. I'm being really nice just for the conversation. So we're making $400 a month, give or take. Do we use property management? Yes or no? It's 8 units. Do you want to deal with 8 tenants? So you got a property manager. At 8 units, they might give you 5%. So they're going to charge you $140 for the favor. So now you're making $250. 56,000. 10% of that is 5,600. 1% of that is 560. Okay. You're making $250 a month. 250 times 12 is 3,000. I'm showing you some quick math. It's somewhere in between here. Half of 5,600 is 2,800. That's 10%. This is 5%. So you're gonna make about 6% ROI here. You have 8 tenants. What happens every month, no matter where you own? What happens every month if you have tenants? Somebody's late, and what else happens? Something breaks. And you also got lawn care because it's 8 units. It's about $100 a month. So now we take off another 400 here, so it's 2,400. So now we're under, so now we're at 4%. Anybody know how much an AC costs when it breaks? About $6 grand. I just had one break in my mobile home park. I said, guess who's here? Window units. I swear to God, and I lowered their rent. I took 10% off their rent. Freon went up. For a 2-bedroom, 800 square foot, he said it's gonna cost you about $7,000. I said, no, it ain't. Window units, I spent $600 on window units, and I told them, y'all can take 10% off your rent, $75 less. I saved $3 grand. 8 people, toilet's gonna break, somebody's gonna leave, it's gonna be a leak, something is gonna happen. This is the best case scenario. Anybody know what high yield interest is right now? And if you just left your $56,000 in the bank? 4%. So you could just leave your money in Chase Manhattan and sleep like a baby, or you could risk it all for 4% to get your money back in 25 years. That can be you. And no shot. So we can't even offer him 280. So, and he wants 375. So we have to figure out what's a number that makes sense for us. I won't get greedy, I'll keep it at 10%. I want to make $5,600 a year. So that means I gotta get this number down so that when I add all this up, this bottom number drops down about $400 a month. So let's just cut it real quick. 280, let's go with 200. Can you do me a favor? Can you keep the same calculation? Put in 200,000, and then how much do we gotta put as a deposit? 20%. So what times 5 is 240? So 240, so our mortgage is gonna be on 160. So this is a 200K offer, and this is what I do every day to try to see if I got a good deal or not. And Jacob now is gonna have to go back to this guy and say, hey bro, there's no way you're making 4,200. Unless one of them is a business, and I don't wanna know. And then, even if you are, because see, he's older. He might have bought that place for 30 grand. And with no mortgage and everything, yeah, he's cash flowing. But I have to pay today's interest rates, today's taxes. What's the mortgage?
Oh, it was $1,299.
Pretty good, right? Pretty good, right? I told you to take off 400. I don't know. I just guessed. I don't know. $1,299 or $1,300. Can I call it $1,300, please? $1,300. So $1,300 is $468 less. So let's call it $459 times 6, $5,600. That brings us up 5,600. That brings us here. So that brings us to about $8,800. So now we're a little bit over here. So we're right around 14% ROI. That's a deal I'll do every day. You tell that gentleman, look, the best I could do is $200,000. Take it off your hands in a week. Sound good? I know I did that fast. I know I was there. But it's on video. You can watch it back. We're gonna be practicing this all summer. All right, any questions about this? I know it was a lot of math. Yeah.
Where did you come up with the 280,000 originally? Like, why was that the price?
Anybody want to tell me why I came up with 280,000 the first time? Why did I come up with 280,000?
It was that 56 times, or that 56 you were doing.
How did I get to that number first? Brandon, what did I ask you before? How did I get to this number? It's on the board. But I know there's a lot on the board too. I know I talk very fast. Like, I know. I understand. I get in trouble for it all the time. Anybody could call out though, it's fine.
I mean, I see how you did, but how did you get the 350? I'm sorry, that was where I was kind of confused. The 350 times 8.
Where did I get 350 from?
That's the amount of rent per unit.
That's the rent. For an old, small, one bedroom, you're gonna get about 350. For a nice one bedroom, you're gonna get about 550. Got to put some money into it. Okay? So I'm assuming that because his rent has water in it. All the houses, all the structures have one water meter. So the landlord has to pay for that. So even if you didn't want to, I mean, you could section it off, but it's a lot cheaper just to keep it that way. So even if the rent was $400, I'm really not getting $400 because I gotta pay something to the water, right? So I said if I'm getting $350 per unit times 8 units, then that is $2,800. So if my rent is $2,800, what's the most I could pay? And that's the 1% rule, or the reverse of it, right? So that's how we just guessed 280, because that's me being fair. That's me being nice. The numbers just don't work because there's no way that he's making $4,000 a month. It just, and I did the numbers in front of everybody, like unless I miscalculated, which happens once every 10 years. When I'm trying to prove a point. Like, I just want to make sure everybody's paying attention, you know? So this deal does not make sense. But if he takes 200,000, can I ask you just an honest question? He says yes to 200,000. What's your next play?
What are we gonna do? That's my question.
All right, no, okay, that's all right, but what do you want to do? Because I can buy it. All right, but what do you want to do? What would your next play be on this one? 8 units, 200 grand. Cash flow 5,600 a month. What would you do? Jacob's also an investor. We all work together, so I'm just trying to.
I mean, we could JV on it, or I could just get an assignment fee, walk out, let you keep the cash flow.
What would you do? Depends.
It depends.
If it was me, I'd throw 10K on it, get it going. If you lock it up, wholesale it. Unless you want to be a landlord at 8 units. Because you're going to have to fix everything in that unit, and then order the cash flow to get a DSCR loan and pull your money out. If we go with hard money, they're going to give us 6 to 12 months. But we got to DSCR it, and we got to have 70 cents on the dollar, 65, 70 cents, because things are tight right now. It's going to be really hard. So you either got to raise the rent or lower the bills. You can't lower the bills unless we offer him less money. So it's going to be a big renovation budget, which we could use for hard money. So we could talk about that, and that's another situation. I already see the math is too much. This is the hardest thing you guys are going to have to do and understand if you want to be an investor. But it's really elementary math, nothing more than 5th grade math. It's decimals, percentages, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay? And one last thing, I'll take questions, and then I'll see the lady. Oh, she came in, right? Can you do me a favor? Could you grab a cake? Upstairs in the fridge. And then we'll put it down, and then when she comes down and sits down, then we'll go, surprise! All right? Okay, thank you. So, return on investment is It's a very simple formula, and it's my opinion on it is how fast do I get my money back? That's all it means. How fast do I get my money back? Jimmy's happy with 7%. That's about 13 years. It's not bad. Others are happy with 10% a year. That means 10 years. Some people want 20%, which means 5 years, and so on and so on. Some people want 300%, and we'll figure it out, which is 4 months. Or some people want 600%, but they want the money back in 2 months. Okay? Now you can do that on small things, like if you buy like an iPhone and you flip it. But then again, that's like a job. That's not an investment. That's work. So yeah, you can make that type of percentage, but again, that's not an investment. That's work that you have to put in for a business. Okay? So I'm done with that one because I can read the room. You just want to set it up. Oh yeah, you said it. You're right. And we'll do that. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have a deal that they're working on, looking at? I won't talk that whole time. I'll just do the numbers real quick. And you'll see if it's a good deal or bad deal. If there's somebody you want to offer, is there a rental, you're looking at a house, something like that? Or you want to ask me any other tangential type questions. Now's your chance. We got a picture of the board? Okay, and I'll erase everything. And if there's no questions, there's more pizza.
I got a potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna erase it. Will you run another one back? Okay, cool. All right, Renata. Describe what you're looking at first while I'm erasing. What are we buying?
I'm looking at a single family home, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, purchase price about $160.
Where?
4.2.
Okay, 4.2.
And just the regular, like, city appraisal value, I haven't had the appraiser in yet, is like $290.
That sounds about right in that area. How much they buy this?
Well, I already know, but I'm like, okay, so doing the numbers in terms of what to do with the.
All right, so let's.
A long term.
4.2 realtors in the room. How much can you get for a 4.2 and a 42s?
Depends where the 42.
Give me a median.
Well, if you're like by chance, let's just say chance road, you're looking at about like 225.
No, I'm saying rent.
Oh, rent. Oh,
Yeah, no, because she's buying it as an investor, so rent. Yes, sir. Dre, what you got?
I didn't have anything.
Oh, no, I thought you raised your hand. Okay. I would say anywhere between 1,800. Yeah, I'd say anywhere between 1,800 and 2,000.
Yeah.
Just
Depends where though, because some of them are going for like 16, 14.
It's over by Lions Club
Lions Club Park,
on the other side.
what do you think?
they're looking about, 16, 18.
You want to just call it 18 and split the baby?
Okay.
I like Jacob. We don't fight. We just figure it out. All right. So 1,800 a month. Does Renata have a good purchase price to start? You tell me yes or no,
Yeah.
and then, well, not Renata. You're buying it. You tell me yes or no, and why, or why not?
That's the average price right there.
What?
But then we run the comps between the area, all that to figure out what it is.
I've done that.
Hold on. Let me circle some numbers. All right, no, that's fine. That's a good question. That's a good question. Renata has this deal for 160. Oh, yeah, that's why I said buy
I
it.
know it's a good deal. I'm just, what do I do with it?
Yeah, I got you.
Do I sell it?
Hey, we'll walk right through it. Renata's getting it for 160. Her rent, median, 1,800. Now, I can show you the Section 8 list. Section 8 would pay 19 and change. Just telling you. But whatever. 1,800 is our median number right now. Based on these two numbers alone, is this a good investment? Anybody can answer.
Yes.
Why?
It's the 1% reversal.
Thank you. Because if we know the rent is 1,800, then our purchase price should be less than 180,000. If we know our purchase price is 160,000, our rent has to be at least 1,600. Okay? Okay? Yeah, okay. So she's winning so far. Now what we gotta figure out is the ROI. You're gonna go through hard money or you're gonna go through conventional? Probably hard money?
Yeah.
Okay, hard money. You're gonna go, all right, let's just say hard money is a special case. So they're gonna ask her for 10% down, which is 16K. They're probably gonna charge her 2 points. A point is 1% of the loan amount. So that's 3,200 because that's 1,600 times 2. So we'll call that 3K. Let's call our closing cost $6,000. Title, insurance up front, everything, 6K. Are you gonna do any renovations?
We're gonna have to, yeah.
About how much?
It's just cosmetic stuff. Not
So close 20 grand?
yeah,
Okay. So then her loan amount is gonna be about 160. So we're gonna change that to 7K. So Renata is gonna put out 23K. Plus she's gonna have the time of renovation. So she's gonna have holding costs. She's gonna have to pay the mortgage on the hard money. She's gonna have to pay lights, water, lawn care. Call that about $1,500 a month. It's gonna take you about 3 months all in. Let's call it another, just to make the number nice, another 5K. So Renata is putting in $28,000. Her job is to get that money back as fast as possible, right? The ARV, after it's made beautiful, is $290,000. I'm not gonna say what I would do. Laura, what would you do?
As far
She has the house for
as
160.
I have a lot of equity there, so
I
that's
don't know.
what my
So what would you do?
a lot of the low.
What would you do?
Plans.
What would you do? Would you flip it? Would you rent it? Would you keep it? Would you wholesale it? What would you do?
I personally would keep it. That's
Okay, you keep it as a rental. Okay, why would you do it? There's no wrong answer here, by the way. Why would you keep it?
I mean, I want to grow my portfolio, in my opinion.
That's fine.
So,
That's a good answer. I'm not.
I don't know what you're looking for, but that's
I'm looking for your opinion. That's it. I want your opinion. I don't want anything else. Just your opinion. And I'll have fun too. Okay. Anybody with a different answer? Not that you're wrong. Not that they're right. Just opinions. Anybody with a difference of opinion? Yes.
You said 20,000 to put into it.
Yeah. And she's getting hard money. So if you use my hard money guy, he does 100% loan on renovations and 90% purchase. So you spend the 20 to fix it, and then when you show them everything is nice, they give you what's called a loan draw, and you get back 20 grand, and that's it. It's really good. So,
And then she
So
goes
then,
down.
and then you.
yeah.
I would flip it. And that's why I'm asking, because my typical thing would be older. That's just what I have experienced in, but I'm trying to broaden my horizons and get out of that mode. Especially since the boys are gone, I don't wanna hold that stuff.
All right.
And that's over $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was just trying to clarify. So you mean to tell me we're only spending $75K,
We're not even spending 75K, bro. We're spending 28,000.
28,000,
28,000.
28,
And her potential is 130K. Now let's just call it what it really is, because she's gonna. All right. So when she puts in a 20K renovation, and they give her back that 20K, her loan went up. So she's adding 20K to this. But by putting in the 20K, she added the value. You know what I'm saying? So let's call that 180. Okay? So she has 110 potential, but then she has to pay realtors, she has to pay title, closing costs again. Right now it's a buyer's market, so when you sell, you have to pay concessions and closing costs. So let's just knock off a quick 20K.
What about a price drop? What happens if it doesn't sell? She has a full price drop.
Because that's happening right now,
It's
right?
the same, but the market didn't change. But even
Okay.
if you inflate the balloon though just a little bit more, she's still in the green.
She's at the 180. She's still under the ARV. She's still under the ARV value.
You want to take off another 30K?
So even if you take off that though, I mean,
We'll take off another 30K?
Sure.
We'll take off 50K all in. So 30K. So this is lowering the purchase, and this is closing and fees. So 110 might, so she still has 60K. $60,000 in 90 days.
Stay long.
If you put in 28,000 and you got back 88,000, would you do that? All day, every day?
So let me tell you what I was thinking. And then you can talk me out of it.
I'm not talking to anybody. I
Because
ain't
it's the way
I don't even have a job.
That makes sense. So normally what I was thinking, so what would be the downside of instead of taking the loan, if I had the money to front the reno?
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, so then the other piece of that was renting it just for a while because we're in the middle of this?
Sure.
And then doing the DSCR and pulling it off.
Let's go with option 2. So this is flipping. That's flipping. I'll let the camera do it, but you see it keeps following me. So every time I'm here, I'm in front of it, so I can't. So we gotta get a picture. So we'll bring it up. There you go. See if you did. Let's see. Yeah, I think they did. Okay, so this is the flip option, right? So now we're getting into the big leagues. This is graduate school here. And now as a seasoned investor, she's talking about DSCR. I need you to do me a loan one more time, okay? So DSCR, we're gonna do, let's be modest. Let's say $250,000 ARV. 20% down is 50. Your loan amount is 200K with the same 8%. And then we're gonna run numbers. So DSCR is debt service coverage ratio. How that works is the bank looks at your rent roll and they make sure that it's fair. Because I can say, oh, no, I'm getting $7,500 for my 4-bedroom. Look, and they're like, no, $1,800 is good. $1,800 is fair. You let the money season, right? Think of like seasoning meat. You let it settle. You show proof that you've been getting rent for 3 months. You provide the lease. You show the bank they're a good paying tenant, and the bank says, okay, I'm willing to take a little bit of risk. You give me 20% down. We'll give you a loan for up to 80% minus fees, so we'll call it about 75%. Okay? What's your mortgage?
I just don't put the numbers in.
Okay, no problem. Let's go $250,000 purchase. 20% of that is 50 grand. Our loan amount is 200,000, and we're gonna keep it at an 8% interest rate. Yep. And then zero everything else out.
So yeah, 1592.
1592. Okay, this is your rent. So we're gonna call it $200 or so profit. Okay? So, oh no, sorry, because you got taxes and insurance. Almost got me, YouTube. All right, taxes and insurance. On a home like that, you're gonna be paying $250 a month or so insurance. On a $300,000 house or $250,000 house, you're gonna do 2.5, so 2.5, 2.5, and then a quarter. So we're at 5, 6. You can get about 6,200 or so for your taxes, and then like another 3 grand for insurance. It's like 92. So this 2,400 minus like the 92, you're gonna lose $7,800 a year in rent. But how much money did you put in and how much do you get back? If they give you a $200,000 loan, and this is where you gotta make it make sense, this is your true DSCR. You have to pay back the hard money and you have to pay for the renovations. You already put in about $180. So you're gonna do all that, pay fees and everything just to get 200. And then you're gonna lose 8 grand a year. I know I said that fast. Purchase price is $160. She puts down 10%. So let's call it $150, give or take, right? She has fees and holding costs that she's never gonna get back. So I'm gonna bring that number right back up to $160. She puts in 20 for renovations. That means now she owes the first person $180,000. Are we tracking so far? The most, the secondary bank, when she takes a DSCR loan out, is they're gonna give her $200,000. So she'll walk away with $20,000, but what's the catch for her to get that $20,000? But what happens every year? Every year she loses like $8 grand. It ain't worth
Yeah.
20
I mean,
grand.
Like I said, I guess, and it makes sense, that's why I'm asking.
That's all we.
But with what I was thinking, because if I was gonna hold it, everything is aesthetic. The house that has no issues, I did the inspection, I haven't done an appraisal. I did the comps, but it wouldn't take 20,000 to rent it. I wouldn't have to put 20,000 into it to rent it.
But okay, so let's say you put in 10. It's ready to go right now. Like you can rent it today. Come on.
Somebody will rent it, but I'm saying.
Oh, well, no, now come on. Now, so now somebody will rent it. You might not get 18. You might get 16.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Whatever.
Yeah.
On the best day, then we're not going back up to 180. Then we're going to 170 at least, because you're gonna put in 10K in renovation. I mean, paint, cabinets, toilet, or maybe you don't do all that. A fridge, I don't know. But a unit turnover when a tenant leaves in a 4-bedroom house is like $5 grand, $3,500. Even if you lowball it to 5K, let's just say. Okay, then on your best day, you're walking away with 35K here.
Either I've been doing something really wrong or something really right, because I don't spend that 20 cents. And I've been doing it for 30 years.
I mean, it all depends. I mean, tenants do fluctuate between areas, but if you talk about a tenant, let's just say a tenant got animals. You take about animals, you talk about carpets, that's 3-5 grand gone easily. A tenant, kids, large size family, walls and paint, crayons, all that stuff, that's already a thing.
Yeah, you gotta paint.
That's
Yeah,
on the easy
what I'm
side.
saying. That's usually about it. But now, like I said, what I'm doing with the DSCR that I'm getting is basically.
I have one other question for you. Maybe I don't know if you're factoring this in or not. Tenant leaves, what's today? 11? Tenant leaves today. Middle of the night eviction, they told you to stay in, they prorate their leave today. Do you rent it tomorrow? So are you considering the holding cost as well?
I'm just going off of my own experience.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're saying
I'm
that.
doing.
I'm saying
Everybody
I haven't
forget.
had that experience.
No. I'm just asking you a question.
I can see
Because you're only calculating renovation costs. If you have an $1,800 a month mortgage, that is $60 a day. What if it takes you a month to rent it? Didn't you just lose $1,800? Doesn't that count towards renovation costs? So it's not only costing you touch-up paint, it's also costing you time that it's not on the market. So you got to factor that in. And if it's 2 months, now it's $3,600. And maybe you're getting rented faster because you have nice stuff in nicer places. I'm just saying, for everybody else, you also have to consider the lost money and holding costs. Okay? Go foul.
that's probably why I'm putting the house up fast.
Maybe.
That's all I see is my income gone.
Listen, some people are better than this than others. Like I'm not, So, but you're still losing 6 or 7 grand a year. If this was 100K, all day. Or if you took this money and because 7,800 divided by 12, 72 is 6. So this is like $650 a month that you're losing. If this was a number that you could roll it into and you had $1,000 a month investment, I'd lose $650 here to make $1,000 somewhere else because the tenant is still paying down my mortgage. You have all your money back. You have a bunch of tax breaks, and then you have another investment. So now you're cash flowing $350 with no money in. I mean, and then if you have a couple other flips and you got some other tax breaks, like there's sometimes there's a reason for a tax shelter. But if it were me and I had this house, I'd flip
That's
it.
why I'm here to learn. That's why
I'd flip it. I'd shoot for this number. Because even on a bad day, yes.
Would Airbnb be a possibility?
maybe for a short-term rental loophole or something, but probably not long-term.
Can we talk Airbnb, Gail? You Airbnb. All right, SRO. And STO, short-term, it's STR, short-term rental, right? I don't do Airbnb. I'm gonna tell you why I don't do Airbnb, and you're gonna tell me on your side because I might be doing something wrong here. Okay. Property management on a single family takes 10%. If all you have is one renter, they're gonna take 10%. How much do you have to pay a property manager to manage your Airbnb on average?
I haven't had one.
Okay, can I give you an answer? 20 to 30%. Why? Because when you do a long-term rental, the hard work is getting it rented. But once they're rented, if they pay their rent, maybe once in a blue you get a service call, you send somebody out, but you just kick your feet up and you collect rent, right? But if you have a really, really good Airbnb, what happens every month? And then a really good Airbnb, and stop me if I'm wrong, on average rents, the number that they tell you to do is at least 22 days. And then out of that 22 days, they say that that's like 6 or 7 different guests.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
So now imagine how much work a property manager would have to put in to turn it over 7 times, go back, clean it every 3 or 4 days, who's late, what breaks, who clogged the toilet, because if they don't check, then you don't know who clogged the toilet and you can't go back and get the deposit and come back and that third. You have to answer your phone at 2 or 3 in the morning because if you get 2 or 3 bad reviews, you lose your 5-star and then now you're a bad host and now you can't get it rented. You know what that's called? A job. I just told you I don't have a job. I don't want to work. I want passive as much as possible. That is a job. That is what's called active income. Now, if you're young and you have energy and you don't got nothing better to do and you're comfortable with sitting by your phone and managing 4 or 5 things and 2, 3 in the morning, because look, I don't stay at Airbnbs also personally myself. I just don't. I don't feel comfortable in Airbnbs. But I have. And at 2 or 3, this is a real story. This happened to me in Jersey. There wasn't like the security wasn't right, and I was in Jersey, and there was like 4 always in the house. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I'm not gonna say too much because this is recorded. I always keep something with me. And I'm in Jersey, but I kept hearing bing, click, click, bing, click. And I was like, let me go check the doors. I did not sleep a wink for those 3 nights. I was there, had bags in my eyes. Because and it wouldn't happen all day, only in the middle of the night. And I'm in Jersey. Anything could have happened. Somebody could have broke in. Somebody could have. I don't feel comfortable like that, so I don't stay in Airbnb. But you know what I did do? I texted the person at 3 in the morning. Hey, there's a clicking sign. I can't sleep. Da, 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 da. They gave me a credit. I didn't do it for the credit. I did it because I was like, if I gotta catch a case, I want to stop it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta protect my family. They responded within 15 minutes. That means that person was like, oh God, I can't get a 3. I can't get a 3. Who wants to live like that? I don't even like doing my own property management because I don't want to deal with tenants. You notice, and I'll stop on this particular question and then we'll get to the show. You can help somebody, and you guys maybe know, some of y'all are young, maybe you'll learn this later, learn from the lesson now. You ever help somebody 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, 30 times, and then tell them no? And then what happens the one time you tell them no? Or you can't help them, or you won't help them because they're counting your pockets, or they're expecting your help, and they just knew you were going to do it, and that one time you couldn't do it. Then what happens? You're the worst person in the world because you set an expectation. I just told you the AC broke. I told them, look, y'all can leave. They just moved in. Like literally just moved in. AC broke. I said, I'm not doing it. Y'all can leave. Give you 10% off your rent. We'll put one of their units. You'll be fine. You'll survive. It's a 10% off? Absolutely. I feel like I hooked them up. When August comes, and I'll text anybody that wants me to, I'll remind y'all. When August comes and it's a mobile home and it's basically a tin can, and the ACs can't function, not even these, and they get hot, I guarantee you I'm going to get a complaint about how hot it is. And there's nothing I can do about it. And then if it's 3 or 4 days in a row and they get upset, they're going to start talking crazy. I will almost put money on it. which is why I don't work with tenants and I don't deal with people face to face. It's a nameless, faceless corporation that deals with that, and they never know me, they never know them. And they could leave, or they could deal with it. And that's not me being cold, that's just the situation. Now imagine that every other night in the Airbnb. And the rent's not that much more. Airbnb night is about $100, 120. Like in Killeen, you're not getting about 50 a night. You get about $100 a month. So for the same place that you could rent out and get $1,800 and just kick your feet up, 22 days at best, $2,200 for $400 more, 20% more for a fee, and then you gotta pay a cleaner every time. Now you can roll it in the fee, whatever, but it still costs you. You gotta get all that overhead. Toilets break more, furniture breaks more, sinks break more maintenance.
And vacancy and upkeep, because once they leave, you gotta go in there, repaint, you gotta
Touch up more, yeah,
touch up.
because you gotta keep it.
You gotta keep it in perfect.
It's a job. I've never done it. I never will do it. I'll never do Turo. I'll never do anything where I have to be married to the investment. Never have. Okay? Hold questions for 1 second. Brooklyn, thank you for joining us. Mom's here. Brandon's here. The gang is here. Everybody's here. You had a couple of accomplishments the last few weeks, huh? We've been trying to celebrate for a long time. So I hear your favorite cake is red velvet or cookies and cream? We got red velvet. We got pizza. So I want everybody to put their hands together for Brooklyn. This how long we've been planning this. Your birthday's in April, no? We've been trying to cut this cake for her since April because she graduated school that same weekend and we didn't get that, and now she already has her license in that process and da. So, happy graduation, happy birthday, happy brand new first office, happy everything, much success to you.
Yeah.
I got the cake, we got the pizza, we could break the conversation. I know some people got to go out, there's a young lady in the room, you had cake, but alright? I can still take questions, but I always say I don't hold people hostage, so if you have another engagement you want to go, thank you for joining us. I appreciate everybody for coming out. But you can still ask all the questions that you want. This is where the cameras go off. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all already subscribed and all that, so I'm not going to say all that. But for people who might see this, like, subscribe, share, join, comment. Thank y'all for tuning in. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.